So this is Papa Jim, or Papa as the little ones call me. And this is a story about taking Dani and Bailey to see the Junglebook. So I was sitting home one Saturday, the Junglebook's playing with the Savoy 16. I decided to give Corinne a call, see if the kids wanted to go see a movie. Because as far as I knew, they never really had seen, Dani might have seen a movie or two, but Bailey never had. So anyway, Dani is 8, and Bailey is 3. So I called Corinne, and turned out Brayden was with them for the weekend as well. So I told her I'd take him too. He's also 8. So I went over to Corinne's house, picked the kids up. Bailey was just kind of on the verge of being potty trained. Like I said, she's 3, and so she was pretty good most of the time. But Corinne had these like training diaper pants things for her, so I said, well, maybe you ought to put one on just in case. So anyway, so she essentially had a diaper on, and then the other 2 kids were fine. So we go to the theater, go in and get tickets. Went over to the aisle to get some popcorn for them, and I turn around and they're all just gone. So they've basically just rocketed across the lobby, and I spot them over by these. They've got these chairs in the lobby for the D-box, and it basically is a kind of a vibrating thing. It gives you a sample of what D-box is like. So anyway, they were over there, so I ordered the popcorn and stuff, and then yelled at them, and Brayden finally came over and helped me carry all this stuff. So we're walking to the theater, which is about halfway down this long aisle, or this long hallway, and Bailey just like takes off. She just starts running full speed toward the other end of the hall, and there's no way I can chase her. So then Dani goes chasing her, and Dani's, she sees Dani chasing her, then she speeds up, and Dani speeds up. So by the time Dani finally catches her, they're like clear down at the end of the hall, and she was practically to Savoy. So anyway, Dani brings her back, and we get to our seats, and almost immediately Bailey is like, I want to go home. I want to go home. Papa, I want to go home. So I'm like, the movie had essentially already started. They were doing some previews or something, but I don't know if she was scared of the dark or just, I hadn't spent that much time with her, especially not alone, so maybe she was missing her mommy or something. But anyway, so I sat her down and started giving her some popcorn, and she seemed like she was kind of okay, but then she'd stand up. She's a really hyper kid anyway. So Dani is sitting right in front of me in the aisle in front of us. Bailey's right next to me, and then I'm on the aisle, and then Brayden is next to Bailey. So anyway, she eats some popcorn, but she's really restless, and she gets up, and she eats some more popcorn, and then she just starts kind of free-ranging. So the movie's going, and I thought she'd be fine, because I thought, it's basically a cartoon. And so she, first she walks about a seat down past Brayden, then she comes back, and then she kind of walks down 2 seats, and she comes back, and this goes on for, I don't know, 15 minutes or half hour. She keeps going further and further down the aisle. So finally, it was impossible to keep her in the seat. I couldn't just sit her there and make her sit there. So anyway, eventually I just kind of stood up in the aisle, and I'm watching her as she, is going around the theater. So then she's like up and down the stairs on the other side, and then she comes back, and then she goes up and down the stairs again, then she comes back, then she goes up and down the stairs on our side, and before you know it, she's like going down the stairs on her stomach, and she's eating popcorn off the floor, and just, everything that would totally mortify her mother. So and meanwhile, Dani is fine. She's watching the movie, but Brayden now starts to get restless. Well, he had spotted a classmate of his, I don't know, maybe 5 rows down or something, and he asked me like 6 times if he could go sit with his friend, and I'm like, no, Brayden, you need to sit here and help me keep an eye on Bailey, make sure she doesn't, wander too far off, and just, let's try to keep things together so I don't have too many kids to keep an eye on. So anyway, he stayed for a while, and then all of a sudden he's just gone. And so he's gone down to sit with his friend, even though I told him not to, just completely, blatantly disobeyed me. So he's down there. So anyway, we're probably about an hour into the movie. So he's down with his friend. Dani's the only one who's actually watching the movie and being good. And Bailey is just going up and down the stairs on her stomach and eating popcorn off the floor and just, entertaining herself basically with no interest in the movie. So anyway, after a while, Bailey comes back and she's like, "Papa, I gotta go potty." And about that same time, Brayden comes over and says he has to go to the bathroom. So I told Dani, all right, I'm going to take the other two to the bathroom. You just stay right here. So I take him to the bathroom. So we go in the men's room, and Brayden is, he goes in one of the stalls and uses the bathroom, and then I take Bailey in one of the stalls, and I'm trying to hermetically seal the seats with toilet paper so she doesn't have to touch anything, and I'm like standing her on the seat. So I pull her pants down, and there is just poop everywhere. I mean, this kid has, I don't even know how that much poop comes out of a little person, but there was a lot of poop. So I'm like, all right, plan B, this is not going to work. So I take her over to this, I set her on the vanity next to the sink, and I get Brayden, and he brings me paper towels, and I'm like trying to clean her up and get this diaper thing off of her and all this. But then, of course, I have no diaper to put back on her. I have nothing to put back on her. No underwear, no nothing. So I finally get her cleaned up. I mean, this stuff was pretty much from her butt all the way down both legs. So I get her cleaned up, get her clothes wiped off and everything, and basically have to fashion some sort of a makeshift diaper / absorbent pad / I don't even know what to put in her pants. And then, so I get her put back together, and, the whole time I'm trying to clean her up, she's reaching over and turning the water on, and I'd turn it off. And then she'd turn the water back on, and I'd turn it off. And it all just became a big game. Meanwhile, Brayden is just wandering around the bathroom like he has nothing really to do. And I'm trying to get him to help me get her cleaned up and get paper towels and yada yada. So anyway, finally, we get all that mess cleaned up. Take her and Brayden back to the theater, and we said by then there's really only maybe 15 minutes of the movie left. So we finished watching the movie. Meanwhile, Dani's there the whole time, and she eventually, I think, fell asleep. But anyway, thank the good Lord, the movie finally ended, and bundled the kids up, took them back home, and I gotta say, I just never expected that it was going to be that kind of experience. But as a grandpa, it's one of those experiences that you'll never forget. So, anyway, love you guys.